To even open this can of worms, but we have reason to be skeptical about your statements about Big U because you obviously co-signed Loose Cannon telling the story about how Big U basically got Nipsey killed or whatever.
Today, we're going to unravel a subject that, unfortunately, is quite prevalent in the daily lives of many: manipulation. This form of negative social influence reveals how individuals or organizations use subtle tactics to gain control and advantage over others.
Some things that he initiates, so then that backlash falls back on me and get myself out the way. I really believe that his mission was to come in, infiltrate, think he can utilize me for my resources.
You're talking about Loose Cannon?
Yeah, try to get me to include myself in some things that he initiates. We don't care. If you come playing, you will get played with. 63, 53, 43, 33, 23, you know, any of them, like, bro, your chin is working. But what he should have known is the minute he started doing what he's doing.
Talking about the brawl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I walked away. Nah, brother. You not pulling me into that. You not pulling my team into that.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
How do you take 20,000 children?
Allowed to secretly record people. Can you use your phone? Can you use the audio capture and secretly record? Is it legal to do that? We're going to unpack and answer all of those questions in this whiteboard video. First, going to examine the basic law regarding recording confidential communication. We're then going to break down what is and is not a confidential communication so you know what you can record and what you can't record. And finally, we'll unpack what to do if you've recorded somebody in violation of law. My office has received hundreds of phone calls up and down the state of California. California Penal Code, Section 632, subsection A, says that it's against the law. Specifically, it says, a person who intentionally and without the consent of all parties to a confidential communication uses an electronic recording device to eavesdrop upon or record the confidential communication shall be punished by a fine or a short jail sentence.
In 2024, the month of December to be exact, what started as a routine podcast taping at the No Jumper studio spiraled into a violent street brawl, leaving 2 men bloodied and 1 paralyzed, shocking the hip-hop media world with more questions than answers. But beneath the chaos and the fists, something more deliberate was captured by a camera no one expected to matter. A signal, a foot tap, and at the center of it all, Cass Jones, aka Wack 100. The brawl itself wasn't random. It was strategic, orchestrated, and the man everyone now blames for setting it in motion has spent the past few weeks rewriting history with every interview, live stream, and podcast appearance he can get. This documentary reveals how Wack 100 has used lies, manipulation, and deflection to cover up his alleged role in the attack, and how that same deception may soon cost him everything, misleading the public to attempting to mislead the federal government. Wack 100 is playing a dangerous game, and he is out of his league. Cass Jones, the man known as Wack 100, is a music manager turned internet personality. He's managed rap stars like The Game and Blueface, but these days he's more famous for starting fights online and tricking Big U off the streets than launching careers. A frequent guest on Black TV, No Jumper, and DJ Academic's platforms, Wack has carved out a reputation as the go-to voice for hip-hop gossip, gang politics, and controversy. But on that December night, he wasn't just a commentator. He was allegedly a participant. And for the first time, the evidence directly contradicts the persona he's tried to sell. Surveillance footage shows Wack 100 standing with a group of men near the No Jumper parking lot. One of them was a man now identified as the fake Loose Cannon, an impersonator using the name of a known icon in the music industry. It appears that Wack leans in, tips his weight, and taps the foot of the fake Loose Cannon. What follows is immediate and violent, a brutal assault on two men caught entirely off guard. The tap wasn't innocent, it was a signal, and in street code, a signal like that can mean only one thing: go. For the victims, the attack came out of nowhere, but for Wack, it was premeditated, caught on tape, and undeniable. But almost immediately, Wack went on the offensive, not physically this time, but digitally. The very next day, he hopped on YouTube with a story that defied the footage. He claimed that the two men had threatened him by yelling out gang sets. He implied that the fake Loose Cannon acted in defense for his protection.
Loose says, so you came up here for content, right? He says, well, however you want to put it, cuz.
How'd they come up here for content when they didn't have anybody filming?
You're missing the point. That ain't what that mean.
What's the content then?
That ain't, look, content means you can have a camera or your ass can be content, right? So Loose tells him, you came up here for content, right? He says back to Loose, whatever, cuz, how you want to put it, on gangster. Loose says, nigga, this is on neighborhood. Okay, in this jungle, Adam, anything gangster crip, anything neighborhood crip is automatically enemies.
I heard.
Guess what?
We had a whole cigarette thing here.
Now, guess what? That's crip situation going on, right?
In Wack's version, he wasn't a conspirator. He was the target, the victim. But something didn't quite add up. If he was scared, why was he the one giving signals? Why did he entertain the victim seconds before the attack began?
He should have known the day of the no jumper stuff. He should have known. And I don't know why his light didn't go off. He should have known that day. Because I did something that day that should have told him what you doing is not gonna work. See, he was trying to, I guess from the looks like, bait people in. But when he called one of the guys, right, you know what the guys told him? Wack called me and canceled. Right? Mm-hmm. Now, I never told Loose Cannon I called the guy and canceled because you're not supposed to be up there anyway.
Then came the contradiction. On No Jumper, Wack claimed he jumped in to stop it. According to him, things could have gotten worse if not for his leadership.
When I do what I'm supposed to do, everybody witnessed it. Y'all witnessed outside of No Jumper. Did I do what I'm supposed to do?
You didn't do anything.
No, bullshit. Oh, bullshit. I stopped some shit.
Wack, when
Did
you
I not?
lined up, when you lined up,
Did I not?
when you lined
I
up,
didn't?
You stopped it?
You telling me I didn't stop nothing outside this building?
Unless there was a threat that we didn't see off camera.
Are you telling me out there with this weenie, the PDF file, Jay Reed, y'all telling me I didn't stop
Allegedly,
nothing?
you could get sued.
Participate.
No, you're a motherfucking lie. I didn't stop nothing.
But again, the footage says otherwise. Wack was there before, during, and after the assault. At no point does he attempt to pull anyone away. Adam22, founder of No Jumper, reportedly confronted Wack privately. Sources claim Adam was furious, saying Wack used his platform to orchestrate street drama. From that moment on, Adam22 began distancing himself from the beating. And Wack, he began doubling down.
It's not me getting beat up. Who gives a f? It's the fact that this assault took place at my facility in the first place.
First of all, well, let's backtrack. You made me aware it was somebody back there.
Exactly, because I saw them outside and I felt
Okay,
it.
now
I was
stop.
like, oh, what am I going to do? I'm going to call Wack, let him know there's a couple guys outside.
Now watch this. Wack didn't run out on no bullshit.
Right, but the
Everything-
people that you invited are the ones who got involved in this bullshit. And from my perspective, this was all like a big PR thing.
Hold on,
because
no.
why was somebody filming before it even started?
Wait. I don't listen. I can't tell you that.
Well, human nature is that there's a bunch of clout chasing going on. If you're going to punch somebody in the face, you tell your friend to film beforehand.
Well,
That's some clout chasing
Well, let me
shit.
ask you a question.
That's somebody who plans on putting the video out from
Loose
the
Cannon
beginning.
was supposed to come up here and meet me on my way out because we driving to Vegas.
The turning point came when federal charges were filed against the fake Loose Cannon in early 2025. The charges included conspiracy, robbery, assault, and connections to a wider investigation. And suddenly, Wack changed his narrative again. He claimed that the fake Loose Cannon was working alone, that he never endorsed the violence, and that he himself had become the victim of collateral damage. It was no longer "I stopped the fight." It became "I was set up." But digital evidence tells a different story. Footage, audio, location pings, all of it places Wack at the scene, before the fight, during the attack, and in communication with key players afterwards. Reverse psychology is Wack's new weapon. In every interview, he flips the narrative, accusing others of the very same things that he did.
Yeah.
Your clubhouse people call?
So definitely.
Yeah, see?
Yeah,
See?
spies, exposers. Yeah, on my mom, I can show you.
So this a Wack 100 play the whole time?
No, I don't have to.
They thought
You didn't even explicitly tell him to do this call to the lawyer?
he just told them what happened on
Y'all
Clubhouse and
think
they
I'm
did it.
playing?
He told them what happened on Clubhouse and they did it.
Bro, they go to fucking work.
He claims that the fake Loose Cannon was trying to drag him into crimes, but Wack was already there. From the moment he tapped that foot, he was in it. Even YouTube commenters who once supported Wack are now asking if he was innocent, why lie? The bigger problem for Wack isn't public perception, it's federal prosecution. Federal agents aren't influencers. They don't fall for PR spin. They are trained in surveillance, behavior analysis, phone triangulation, and AI assistance evidence review. And U.S. attorneys? These are Ivy League educated professionals with years of courtroom experience. They specialize in catching people who think they are smarter than the law. Wack may have fooled a few YouTube creators and commenters, but he's not going to fool the feds. What Wack has done is an attempt to obstruct the truth. He lied about being targeted, lied about de-escalating, and lied about his role. And while social media might let it slide, the justice system doesn't. In court, every lie becomes a breadcrumb, every deleted post becomes a red flag, and every contradiction becomes a crack in the defense. The fake Loose Cannon is already facing time, and Wack, he might just be next in line. What makes this more tragic is how avoidable it all was. Wack didn't have to lie, but once he started, he couldn't stop. In trying to control the narrative, he exposed his own. His greatest weapon, his voice, has now become the very thing that could get him indicted. This isn't Clubhouse. This isn't Instagram. This is the federal court system. Wack 100 once built his name on his ability to talk, but the problem with talking too much is eventually you talk yourself into trouble. The brawl was caught on camera. The lie was caught on audio. And the deception, that was caught in plain sight. Cass Jones, aka Wack 100, there is no more hiding behind street codes, internet antics, or tough talk. The foot tap, the spin, the lies, they all lead to one conclusion. Wack wasn't an innocent bystander. He was a central figure. And as federal prosecutors close in, his bigger lie may be the one that finally ties him to the very crimes that he tried to deny.